By 1645, the Civil War had been going on for 3 bloody years, but finally, as the new campaigning season began in June, the two armies of King and Parliament finally met each other in the Midlands at Naseby. The King's troops, he had 8,000 men. These were divided between 4,000 cavalry on the right flank, led by Prince Rupert, the King's handsome cousin, come over from Germany, on the left flank by Sir Marmaduke Langdale. And in the middle were the infantry, the pikemen and the musketeers. These were faced by Parliament's 13,000 men, 7,000 infantry, pikemen and musketeers, the usually well-trained new model army diluted by new recruits. On the right flank was Cromwell and his well-trained Ironside cavalry, with more cavalry on the left-hand side. And so at the start of the battle, Parliament fired their 11 cannon that they brought along that day, and the cannonballs flew through the air and straight over the King's lines and just fell in the soft ground and caused no damage whatsoever. So cannons played no role in this battle at all. Then Fairfax, the commander of the parliamentary force, decided to send some dragoons, these infantrymen on horseback, around this hedge to the right-hand side of the King's lines. Now this movement went largely undetected, and this dragoon regiment led by Oakey were able to dismount and set up their muskets as they peered through the hedge at Prince Rupert's lines. Prince Rupert's cavalry, getting ready for a great charge to start the battle, were spurred into action by Oakey musketeers firing at them through the hedge, causing early casualties to Prince Rupert's cavalry. But Prince Rupert's cavalry charged nonetheless at the parliamentary left flank. And as the parliamentary cavalry came charging towards them, they soon realised that they were no match to Prince Rupert's brave cavaliers. And so they quickly turned and fled. At this point, Prince Rupert loses control of his cavalry, and they chase after them full of bloodlust, wanting to become heroes. And as they chase the parliamentarian cavalry from the battlefield, they realised that they could make for the baggage train, and eager for plunder, greedy for riches, they left the battlefield. Meanwhile, Charles, in the centre, orders his infantry to advance. Now, Parliament's troops are right at the top of the hill, and so they can't get a clear shot at the King's troops until they're almost upon them. At this stage, the parliamentary musketeers open fire. Now, these inexperienced troops hadn't had much musket practice, so as the muskets open fire, the recoil on the muskets caused them to fire over the King's infantry's head. And so, again, muskets didn't really play a major part in this battle. And so they turned their muskets round, and as the two infantry sides met, they were whacking at each other with the butts of their muskets, cracking each other's skulls open, hitting each other with swords, using their pikes whichever way they could. Meanwhile, Langdale attacks on the left flank. Cromwell, seeing Langdale's attack, sends his Ironsides into battle. Now the well-trained Ironsides very quickly push Langdale's cavalry back, and they are soon fleeing. But at this stage, Cromwell shows his greater discipline, far much better discipline than Prince Rupert had, and he manages to get most of his Ironsides to turn and to attack the King's infantry from the flanks. The King's infantry, realising that they're done for, turn and flee. The King, realising that his position is no longer tenable, he flees too, and before long the whole of the Royalist army is fleeing the battlefield. They are pursued mercilessly by the parliamentarian force, and the most of Charles' army is brutally butchered, and they capture King Charles's baggage train and all of his riches, and it is the beginning of the end for King Charles.